My name's Lachelle. For those of you that didn't watch my last video, I am a domestic violence advocate here at the Avalon Center, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what you can do if someone that you know or care about is being abused. So, knowing that somebody that you care about is being abused can be very painful. It can be a really hard thing to deal with. And so, a lot of times in these situations, we can feel helpless, like we don't know what direction to go or what way to best help. So let's talk about that today. Let's talk about some ways that we may be able to help in these situations and to keep the victim's safety at the very top of our list of important things. So, first of all, let's talk about how abuse is about power and control. The person being abused is used to having their power and control taken from them by their abuser. And so when you go to help that person, it's really important that you remember that and allow that person to have the power and control to decide what's best for them, what next step they want to take. I think it's real easy sometimes to forget that part of it because from the outside looking in, it can be real easy to assume that I know what you need to get out of this situation. And I know what's best, even though I may not. And so that can be really hard. It can be really, really hard because if I'm afraid for you or I'm concerned about your safety, then all I can think about is how I can make you safe. And then I want to fix that for you and make it better for you. And that's just simply not always the best way to go in these situations. So, one of the first things that you can do is to start by opening up a conversation. You kind of have to be a little careful about how you open up that conversation because it can't be forced. And what I mean by that is if I'm a victim of an abusive situation, you can't make me talk to you if I don't feel comfortable and if I'm not ready to talk to you. So, opening up the conversation and letting them know, like, hey, I'm worried about you. I just want you to know that I'm here for you. If you want to talk to me about what's going on, I'm concerned about your safety. If that person shuts you down and says, no, I don't want to talk about it, now's not a good time, respect that and kind of let them know, hey, look, that's okay. I just wanted you to know that I'm here for you. I'm available. I want to help. And when you're ready, just reach out to me. And I think that's key is letting them know when you're ready, I'm still going to be there. You don't have to talk to me right now. And also reminding that person and assuring them, I'm not going to share your information. And when you do get ready to talk to me, I will uphold your confidentiality. I won't tell anybody what's going on unless you want me to. If they do decide to talk to you, one of the best ways that you can help them is to listen to them. I think that sometimes we forget the power of listening. Listening to a person and allowing that person to vent is really the first way you can help them. Sometimes they just need to be able to get things off their chest and have somebody to talk to. Remind that person if they reveal that there's abuse happening that the abuse that's occurring is not their fault. A lot of times abusers will convince victims that it is their fault. If you had done what I told you to do, I wouldn't have hit you. Or if you were a better partner, I wouldn't hit you. And so one thing that I will kind of say to people to counter that is, okay, so if you've ever called law enforcement before, was he still abusing you when the cops got there? Does he abuse you in the middle of Walmart or in the middle of family gatherings? Or is this something that he does more behind closed doors? Because if that's the case, that means he's turning it on and turning it off whenever he feels like it. And if he can turn it on and off, it's not a mental health issue or an anger issue because those are things you don't control and turn on and off when you feel like it. It's a choice because you're able to turn it on and off when you feel like it. Remind them that they don't deserve to be abused. You don't deserve this. Nobody deserves to be treated this way. Acknowledge that, hey, you talking to me, I realize takes a lot of strength and courage. That's, good for you for being able to talk about it because it's not an easy thing to do. And ask them how you can help. Ask them, what do you think I could do to help you best in this situation? Don't assume that you know the best way to help them. Ask them for their feedback on what you should do to help them. And now I want to talk about some things not to say. There's some ways that we can go about this and really hurt the situation and make the person feel more isolated than helping. So I wanted to touch on that. Don't say anything judgmental or blaming. What did you do for him to treat you so badly? What did you do for her to hit you with the remote. What did you do to cause this person to do these things to you? That's really judgmental and blaming. That's assuming that you caused the abuse to happen when you didn't cause the abuse to happen. And so that also shifts that blame and takes it off of the abuser and puts it on the victim. And a lot of times I think people don't intentionally do this. It's just easier to believe that humans aren't capable of just hurting somebody because they choose to hurt somebody. It's easier to believe that, well, for somebody to be that mean, something had to trigger it. And that's not the case with domestic violence. Don't tell them what to do. You know, one of the biggest mistakes I think we make when reaching out to people in these situations is telling them, well, you should do this or you should do that. That again means that you're assuming you know what's best for their situation when you simply may not. Don't ask them, why don't you just leave? I hear it all the time. Why don't you just leave? Wouldn't it be easier if they just left? Well, yes, it would if it were that simple. It's just not that simple. We have a video that we posted previously on our Facebook page that is all about reasons victims stay. There's a lot of reasons. Sometimes they're just safer if they stay in the situation. I know that if I stay, he may hit me occasionally and verbally abuse me, but I don't know what he's going to do if I leave. They may kill me when I leave. You know, that lethality increases in those situations. So don't assume that it's just so simple to leave, because it's not. There's a lot of variables that go into that. Next, you can talk to them about their safety. Talk to them about your concerns for their safety, or for their safety and their children's safety. Ask them, do you want to talk to me about your plan? You know, let's have a conversation about that if you're comfortable with it. If they're not, you can't make them talk to you, but if they are comfortable with it, talk about where they spend their time. Work, the car, picking up the kids from the sitter, home, and then kind of discuss what plan they already have in action to keep themselves safe in each of those places. And if they don't have a plan, offer, you know, can I help you make a plan for those situations? I would love to be part of that. Also, maybe talking to them about their support system. Their support system can be a huge benefit and a huge help during their safety planning. Who are your people that you can trust to help you? What are they willing to do to help, and are they able to help? And then maybe even talking to them about involving that person in their safety plan. Whether that's, you know, talking to their mom about a code word. If I call you or one of the kids calls you and we say Blackbird, then you automatically know to call the police and send them to my house. And so that can be a very good way that people around you can help in those situations. You know, encouraging them to involve those people in those plans, because sometimes in those situations it takes a village to help. You can encourage a victim to speak to an advocate. You know, we're trained professionals with these situations. We know the resources that are available in our areas, and we know the options that are available for victims in these situations. Maybe reminding them that advocates are going to keep your information confidential. They're not going to tell anybody any of your information, and we don't require that anything gets reported to law enforcement or that they take any further steps than just reaching out to us. We're only there to provide assistance for what they think is best for them. You can also talk to a person about how abuse can impact their mental health, right? It can impact it in a lot of different ways. It can make somebody feel scared, ashamed, hopeless, or like they're losing their mind. Let's face it, abusers work really hard to make their victims feel like they're crazy, to make them feel scared, to make them feel ashamed, to make them feel like nobody wants to help them, to make them feel like what's happening to them is all in their head, to make them feel like there's no way they're getting out of the situation. They work extremely hard to make a victim feel that way. So also letting them know that if you already have a mental illness, the trauma that you're experiencing from the domestic violence might also make those symptoms increase during that trauma. Abusers also will often use mental health against their victims. They'll use it against them for humiliation, intimidation, for isolation. They may use it to make someone look crazy to all their friends. Well, she's got this diagnosis and she's crazy. You can't believe anything she says. They may use it as a way of intimidating them. Well, you have a mental health illness. There's no way that a judge is going to let you have visitation with our children. I'll take the kids from you. They may use it for isolation to make their family and their friends and their support system not believe what's happening and get fed up with the situation and distance themselves from them. They also use it in the court system all the time. I see it happen a lot where they'll try to make the victim look like it's their mental health. That's the only reason she's taking this order of protection out on me. And so, ways that you can approach that situation is by asking them how it's affecting them. You know, are you noticing that you're having any symptoms related to this abuse? Are you noticing that your mental health illness has been worse since this has happened? And then validating it. You know, it's real common to respond to trauma like this. Oftentimes, victims do have these kind of symptoms from those things. Just letting them know that they're not alone in this situation and that they're having a common reaction to something that's happened to them. And so, one of the most important things that I might say to you today is whether they leave or not, be supportive. Be supportive. Victims are so often pushed into corners of leave or I can't be your friend anymore, leave or I can't watch you do this to your life anymore. And it just kind of furthers that abuse and that trauma for them. Again, going back to what I said earlier, there's a lot of reasons why people don't stay. Don't assume that you understand the situation enough to know why they don't feel like they can leave. Assure them that, hey, I'm going to be here to help you regardless. If you want to stay, I'll help you in whatever way I can. If you want to leave, I'll help you in whatever way I can. That choice is yours, but I'm going to be here regardless of what you choose. And, you know, acknowledging that there's a lot to consider whenever you're going to leave a relationship. I understand why leaving may not seem like the best thing for you to do right now. And then you can even offer to help. You know, is there something I can help to make that easier for you? And it's also important to remember to take care of yourself. Supporting someone that's in a domestic violence situation can be a very long and difficult process. It can be very mentally and emotionally draining. So make sure you have your own support system. Make sure you're doing what you need to do to get your own self-care. Know your limits and how far you're willing to go to help in this situation and respect them. It's okay to have boundaries around that situation and to stick to your boundaries. Continue engaging in activities that are meaningful to you. Keep doing things that are fun, relaxing, and other things. Don't let this one situation consume your whole life. And also remember that it's not your responsibility to fix this situation or to save someone. You can't take that all on yourself. And so remembering these things is extremely important, especially if you are a survivor yourself. If you've been through domestic violence already, this can actually, from being around somebody else's situation, it can bring all those old memories and experiences back up for you. So remembering that it's okay to take a step back and take care of yourself, to reach out for assistance for yourself. You know, taking care of yourself is a sign of strength. It is not a sign of weakness. And the last thing I'll leave you with is that at the Avalon Center, you may not realize it, but we also offer services to secondary victims. Even if you're not the person that's being directly abused, we as advocates are here to help you as a secondary victim. If you're helping someone that you care about that's in a situation, if it's a family member, if it's your child, whatever that might look like for you, the same services that we offer to direct victims are available to you as well. So you can reach out to us at any time for assistance with those things. If you guys have any questions, if you want to leave them on this video or chat with us on Facebook or call our crisis line, you're welcome to do that. Thank you. Have a good day.